Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. We're going to do our daily technical analysis on gold and silver. Again, I want to reiterate something before going into the technicals, is that if we see inflation be persistent, it's going to put pressure on interest rates. If we see interest rates go up, it's going to cause, or I think put pressure on money to rotate out of bonds and stocks and into precious metals and commodities. And that money that's flowing is much larger in those two areas of bonds and stocks versus precious metals and commodities, which means that when it does flow and move over, it's going to have a greater impact on gold and silver, the precious metals and commodities, because it's a smaller sector trying to absorb a whole bunch of money coming over. I think it's inevitable that it's going to happen at some point. I don't know the timing of it. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for signals in the charts to see when that timing is. So we're going to dive into the charts. I'll show you what I'm seeing. And this is just financial. It is not financial advice. It is just my financial opinion. So don't take it as advice. You guys are going to have to be responsible for your own trading. So here we go. Jumping in, gold and silver. Technical analysis. We're going to look at the dollar. And the dollar was up and gold was up. We're starting to see a little bit of a shift, almost as if at 4 a.m. we had this thing moving on higher and gold was going higher with it. So that's showing strength in gold. I like seeing that, that the gold price was going up in relationship to the dollar also going up. That's a good move. And we've got the dollar here. It broke out to the upside, came back a little bit, and we're probably going to head higher. We had higher today, so that's also on top of this. So we're at 94.21, which is up here. So I think that's going to continue higher with this breakout. The 10-year, I drew a line through here. We've got a break to the upside. We back tested, and I think we're going to continue higher for the 10-year yield. Yields going higher is going to put pressure on the stock market and bonds, depending how high this gets, to sell off and that money to rotate into precious metals and commodities. This is what we want to see to go higher. And I know that seems different than what most people say. In an increasing interest rate environment with a real negative rate is going to spur money to rotate into commodities and precious metals. Now here's gold. I'm still looking over here. We don't have a buy signal on gold itself yet. I'd like to see, and we've got a little trend line that's broken here. So we broke that trend line. That's good. We've broken something at least. And then we've got a trend line that comes through here that we broke. Right through there. And we're coming on up. We gotta move to the upside here. I want to see it come on up with big buying pressure, the big white candlesticks. Big buying pressure days is what I want. Silver, we're still in the downtrend, but we're getting there. We're trying to break through it on the short term. Let's see what happens tomorrow. And platinum's looking pretty good. I am buying a little bit of physical platinum. We got the downtrend line. We broke through it. We kind of gone sideways on like a retest, back test. And now let's see the buyer step in and push it higher. I want to see it move on higher with big white candlesticks, big buying pressure, and get kind of out of this area here. And what we're seeing in some of the mining companies, this is a gold miner ETF, we're seeing some buying pressure step in. A good 1.86% up day. Let's see if it can continue. If we can break the downtrend, I'll put the downtrend line in here so you guys can see it. Here's the downtrend line coming through. We got to break that downtrend line. And usually what happens is it starts with buying pressure. Here's a big buying pressure day. This was a run. This was the bulls taking a run at it. They said, we're going to take a run at it. It went and took a run at it, and then the sellers got it. And now we're going to take a run at it again. So I think we're going to run at this trend line again and see if we can break it. Looking at it from a little bit bigger perspective, big picture view for GDX, you draw the trend line in on the tops of this pattern, and now we're using it as support. I am waiting for this to break at any point now. And what we were looking at was this tail over here. And that's what we're looking at. So we have a descending wedge pattern that's forming right now. that we will break, I think, very soon. So the pattern on a big picture view looks really good. If you take the tops here and you basically take this coming down, this is a descending wedge pattern. And we're tightening up and we got to break through it. I'd like to see a break to the upside. And usually descending wedge patterns break to the upside. So this is looking good on a long-term perspective. SILJ, we're getting a little bit more buying pressure, a little bit of a bullish engulfing going on. This is good. This is positive development for it to move on up. You draw a trend line in here. I'm going to draw it like this, and you can say that we have the trend line. We broke up to the upside. It tried breaking down, but we came back up. I think we could move higher here if the buyers step in, because it doesn't look like the sellers could have pushed this any lower. They tried, but it failed. So I think it's the buyers need to step in and push it on higher. Here's SILJ. We got some support here at these tops through here. We had a couple hits there, a couple hit here, a couple hits there, and now we're hitting it again for some support. Let's see if that thing holds. And EXK, looking at some of the individual companies, we do have a bullish engulfing. Bullish engulfing is a statistical probability to move higher. It means that we have a reversal pattern. We broke the downtrend line, and now we've got a reversal pattern here. So let's see if we can get some momentum and move to the upside finally. We've got Hekla's also got a bullish engulfing or bullish piercing pattern. That looks good. It's positive developments for a move to the upside. Hekla, on a big long-term perspective, you draw the trend line in, it broke out. It came back as back testing, so it's got some support underneath it. The support's underneath this. I think we could move higher here, and right here is where I would be a buyer for Hekla Mining. That's where I would buy it, is right here. We've got a signal saying that we could potentially be bottoming, and we've got support underneath us, and you buy the retest. That's a great time, I think, in my opinion. Here's Franco-Nevada. We're seeing some buying pressure step in. That's a positive development. We're starting to see it across the entire sector. We got some support over here underneath it. We're seeing wheat and precious metals throw a hammer pattern, which is a positive sign for a move that could potentially be bottoming. A hammer pattern's right here as well, which means that it would most likely reverse and go higher, which it did. So we're throwing that pattern. It doesn't mean that tomorrow will be necessarily an up day, just like this was a down day here, but we went higher after it. So the reversal patterns are being thrown right now in a lot of these companies. We're starting to see buying pressure step in. Now we got to start breaking some trend lines. We got to keep the buying pressure on and start breaking it. We're seeing a nice development. I like this development quite a bit in Newmont. The downtrend line, bullish engulfing. We have another bullish engulfing back here. It's kind of a fight, and I think we're going to break to the upside here probably tomorrow, is my guess. We're seeing GOLD, which is Barrick Gold, the downtrend. We got some buying pressure with the bullish engulfing pattern. It engulfs the day before it. And I think we're going to see a move on up and probably a break of this downtrend, hopefully very soon. And Anglo Gold Ashanti, I drew the downtrend line in. It broke through its downtrend already. So we are seeing some evidence of downtrends being broken in some of these companies. So this is looking fantastic, guys, for a beginning. Let's hope that we can continue the momentum. Let's hope more of these can break their downtrends. At least Anglo Gold Ashanti broke it. So that could be a leader. Fingers crossed. I'm not claiming that this is the bottom yet, but it is looking positive for the buyers to basically line up a move and at least trying to break the downtrend. So I think we just need to watch it. And on some of these companies, it's up to you if you want to pull the trigger. This is kind of early still. It is still kind of a higher risk entry point. But when you start breaking the downtrend lines, that's when I consider it to be pretty low risk. If of any of these, the ones that I like kind of the most, would be Hekla Mining. The silver companies look like they're putting in bullish engulfings, and they've already broken their downtrend lines. So I would say those are the least risk, highest reward of the group. So Hekla Mining, Mag Silver, AG, EXK, those are kind of the ones that I would be a little bit more confident in. But some of these bigger gold companies also look pretty good. They're looking like they're lining up to break their downtrends. So if they break that, I think we could be putting in a bottom here soon. So let's watch it. Let's see what happens. I'm getting a lot more positive on the sector, seeing these big buying pressure days. Platinum's looking pretty good. It broke its downtrend. We had a nice big move up today. That might be our leader. So let's see if we can get moving here. Let's see if we can get a bull market finally awoke. Let's kick this bear to the curb and get the bull going. If you guys like this content, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.